Jai Jai Shri Radhe. So Vaishnav Anko Jai Shri Krishna. Today is day 252 and Varta 250, the story of Chaturbhuj Dasji. He composed several songs at that time. Shin Shri Gosaiji completed the Mangala Bhog Seva, dressed and adorned Shri Navanit Priyaji and sat him in his swinging cradle. Then Chaturbhuj Das sang this cradle swinging song, Pada Raj Ramkali. Queen Yashoda is swinging her Bal Gopal in his cradle. She looks at his lotus face over and over again and joyfully sings auspicious songs early in the morning. She tends to his curly hair adorning his forehead, his eyebrows the lamp black dot for protection, and a little necklace at his throat. She mixes sugar into butter, which is most tasty, and feeds it to him on her fingers. Sometimes she picks up his golden toys and plays with him. When he sees them, the dusky Krishna smiles and shows off his 2 teeth. Like the ocean to the lily and the moon to the chakora bird, he lets her sup on the nectar of his lovely form. Chaturbhuj Das now sings. She laughs and smiles as she embraces my Lord Shri Krishna, moon of Vraja, who upholds the Sri Giriraj mountain. Pada Rag Ramkali. O Shri Krishna, who loves the cows, swing in your cradle. I will churn milk and make butter for you, my store of bliss. The lovely little necklace at your throat, your curly locks and your eyebrows have captured my heart. Every second I stare at your beauty and swing as you sing. Your milk teeth that show when you sweetly smile are oceans of joy. Chaturbhuj Das now sings. His mother celebrates over her son, my Lord, who upholds the Sri Giriraj mountain and is the moon of Gokul. Shri Gosaiji was most pleased to hear these cradle songs. Then he called for his horse and rode, taking Chaturbhuj Das with him to Sri Giriraji. It was time for Sri Govardhanaji's lunch. Shri Gosaiji immediately bathed and made the offerings. When it was time, the temple doors were opened. Kumbhan Das told Chaturbhuj Das, please sing one kirtan, and he did. Badarag Saranga. Since I caught sight of that beautiful dusky lord milking the cows in the cowshed, nothing else at all is interesting to me. Oh, lady friend, I was walking along the path, minding my own business, when I saw that enchanting protector of the cows. I stared, my heart was stolen, and I fainted. I have forgotten all about my societal rules, my family honour, my vows, my father, my friends, and my mother. Chaturbhuj Das sings, my Lord, Shri Krishna, who holds up the Giriraj mountain, has totally stolen me away, body and heart both. When he heard this pada, Sri Govardhanaji smiled directly at Chaturbhuj Das, who prostrated before him and said, Today I am most highly blessed to have had this holy sight of Sri Govardhanaji. Just then the temple curtain was pulled open. Chaturbhuj Das offered his obeisances and went outside. Kumbhan Das asked his son, O Chaturbhuj Das, where had you been? Chaturbhuj Das replied, Sri Govardhanaji took me to Gokul with him. I have just now come back with Sri Gosaiji. Kumbhan Das remarked, You have fallen in with those Praman Leelas. Sri Gosaiji heard this remark of Kumbhan Das from inside the temple and laughed. When he had settled, Sri Govardhanaji sat down for his afternoon nap. Sri Gosaiji came down to sit in his buttock. Chaturbhuj Dasji addressed him, O Maharaj, Kumbhan Dasji asked me where I had been, and I told him I had been to Gokul with Sri Govardhanaji. He said to me, You have fallen in with those Praman Leelas, so why does he regard the Lord's pastimes in Gokul as Praman Leela? Sri Gosaiji replied, Kumbhan Das's heart belongs to Sri Govardhanaji. He is never separated from him even for a single second. Therefore he thinks of every other Leela as Praman, although the Lord's Leelas both here and there are one and the same. From that day on, Chaturbhuj Das never ever left the side of Sri Giriraji. Sri Gosaiji partook of prasad and then went to have a short nap. Chaturbhuj Das paid his respects and went home. In this way, Sri Govardhanaji greatly graced Chaturbhuj Das. He was the recipient of such grace and an accomplished beloved Vaishnava. Part 11. Some days later, Sri Gosaiji went into a cave up on Sri Giriraji and entered the eternal Leela. At that time, he gave his upper garment, Uparana, to his son Sri Giriraj. He instructed, always remain under the command of Sri Govardhanaji. Do only that whereby Sri Govardhanaji will be pleased, and take care of all your siblings. Take this upper garment of mine and perform all the usual necessary rituals for my demise to it alone. If you do not perform such Vedic rituals, then the negative effect will be that people will stop doing them. Please then perform such ceremonies and do not worry about anything else thereafter. Sri Govardhanaji himself makes everything possible. After giving this advice to Sri Giriraj, he walked directly into the Lord's Leela, eternal Leela, through that cave on Sri Giriraji. Shri Giriraji and all Shri Gosaji's other 7 children, as well as his sevaks, fell into a state of great pain of separation. Their agony was indescribable. They managed to pull themselves together, and Shri Giriraji performed Shri Gosaji's last rites and cremation to his aparana. He then performed all the other Vedic rites, including the Das Gatra and all the other recognized worldly ceremonies, and then after some time they exited from that period of impurity and were pure again. Shri Giriraji then attended very carefully to the seva of Shri Govardhanaji. When Shri Gosaji had entered the cave, Chaturbhuj Das was at home in Yamunavat. When he heard the news, he became deeply upset and ran to the entrance of that cave, where he fell to the ground. He began to lament pitifully. He cried, "O Maharaj, I did not get to see you before you entered the cave. There is no one else in this world whom I wish to see. Please do not make me stay here. Keep me close to your lotus feet. Please call me to your side." Full of such agony of separation, Chaturbhuj Das sang this poem in Rag Kedaro. Please come back to Vraja and live here again. Please bless me by letting me see you again with your very same form and actions. Take the cows and the cowherd boys with you and enter the village of Gokul. Let your wealth shine out like that of Sri Nandaraji. Be, like him, a most generous leader. Reveal the path of devotion and teach the souls in this age of Kali. Create the rasa dance play again on Sri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan. Our eyes are like those of the chakora bird, craving to see the moon of your face. Grant them the taste of its nectar and wipe out their agony of separation together. You are the son of Shiva Lab, disperser of all sadness. Please hear this message from my heart. Chaturbhuj Das now pleads, O our Lord, please remove the suffering of all us cowherd people. He sang many compositions in this mood of separation. Hearing these expressions of Chaturbhuj Das's extreme sadness in separation, Shri Gosaji appeared in his most blissful form in Chaturbhuj Das's heart. He spoke, O Chaturbhuj Das, why are you so sad in separation from me? I am and always will be close to you. Please do not be so sad. You will see me close to Sri Govardhanaji whenever you have his holy sight. Wherever Sri Govardhanaji is, I am also by his side, where I shall always stay. Having told this to Chaturbhuj Das, Shri Gosaji again became invisible. Chaturbhuj Das was filled with the bliss of his form, and sang this poem in Rag Kedaro. Shri Vithalnaji is unprecedented and unique, not heard of before nor seen again. His beauty cannot be followed. He assumes a human form in order to benefit the devoted souls in this age of Kali. Who can, like he, possibly bring back that wealth of Sri Nandaraji for all the Vraja residents to delight in? Who, after him, will grant his lovely glance of grace upon his sevaks, to whom he is grateful and compassionate? Who will bring the cows and the cowherd boys and again come to inhabit the village of Gokul? Who again will be a pillar of righteousness and teach the paths of devotion and action and establish the paths of devotion in this world? Who will place their lotus hand on the heads of great sinners and send them to Sri Krishna's own abode? Who will establish the celebration of the great circle dance and the joy of singing to the Lord and making him enjoyable offerings? Who will fix firm faith in the respectful seva of Sri Krishna, upholder of the Sri Giriraj mountain? Who will teach how to adorn the lad Gopal with clothes and jewellery and then perform the arati ceremony to his lotus face, which swells the feeling of bliss and love? Who will again describe the glory of the birds and animals of the area of Mathura? And who will reveal the live form of Sri Krishna, the divine cowherd and the moon of Vraj? Who again will have so much splendid power to make all these appear upon the earth? Whose qualities, pastimes and fame will be sung all over the world? Now everyone is longing to have again the holy sight of the son of Vallabh. The poet Chaturbhuj Das now sings, My only hope is that I spend my whole life in his remembrance. Chaturbhuj Das composed many such poems. He put his mind and heart at the lotus feet of Sri Gosaji and left his mortal coils to enter the eternal Leela. When the Vaishnavas of the other sevaks who were present there saw this, they were very sad. Chaturbhuj Das had one son named Raghu Das, who together with some other Vaishnavas performed his last rites and all the necessary ceremonies to return to a state of purity. Thus concludes Varta 250, the story of Chaturbhuj Das, poet of the Ashta Chap, who was the recipient of Sri Gosaji's great grace and an accomplished beloved Vaishnava. There is no end to his tale. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. So Vaishnav ko Jai Shri Krishna, Shri Gosaji ki jai ho. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.